Coaster fans, today I am reviewing Mystery Mine at Dollywood. This is a Gerstlauer Eurofighter, and it is one of the most heavily themed Eurofighters out there. So without any further ado, let's get right into this. So to start out with, here's the deal. When I was about 4 years old, which is 11 years ago, I rode this coaster as my first quote-unquote big coaster. I remember I had ridden one before then, which was some kiddie coaster, but this was my first quote-unquote big one, and I was told that I had cried on it and told the operator to tear this thing down. Now, that was a younger me. I was apparently like 4 years old when this happened, so I had ridden it before. And now, about a few days ago, I went to Dollywood again, 11 years later, and rode this coaster for the first time in 11 years. I didn't remember it. I had already gotten the credit, technically, but it was kind of a new experience because I didn't really remember it. So I was really excited to find out how it was, and if it was as good as some people had said it was, or if it was as bad as some people had said it was. So I had to form my own opinion. So anyway, you get into the plaza, and it is really cool. The theming is just really heavy with this ride. The whole structure is insanely themed. It's like a whole giant mine shaft. It is really cool. The rock work is great. The wooden structure is phenomenal. There's just steam. The music, the whole Mystery Mine theme song around there is really cool. It's just got this mysterious vibe to it that's awesome. So, normally this ride's going to have a really long line. It can get pretty long, so you got to get there like first thing in the morning if you really want to ride Mystery Mine for the credit. If not, then just don't even bother because it'll get a pretty long line. So, I actually had the chance to ride this thing in the rain, and I was the first rider when it opened back up, and I got front row. So, you get into the station, and the theming is great. They have so many Eurofighters in there, and you'll notice something that the drop-off is actually like down into a tunnel, so it's really cool. And you start off the ride with going into that drop, and guys, let me just tell you something. If you're a dude, and if you're thinking about having kids, well, screw that. Say goodbye to your balls. I mean, your balls just get smashed. These restraints are awful. I mean, they're almost as bad as the Crypt restraints. You just go down that little dip, and you hit the bottom, boom, your balls are smashed into bits. It hurts so bad. I'm sorry, but it just does. Maybe not for everyone, but for me it did, because those restraints are pretty bad. And after this, you're going to kind of take a turn, and you're going to see a lot of theming in this little calm section. It's just, you can hear the music, and the theming is really heavy. There's a lot of sounds and things moving. Then you're going to kind of go through a near-miss effect where it's like this saw that's blading through or something. And then you come to a crawl where you're going to hit the first vertical lift hill. And you kind of stop for a minute. There's some vandalism on the wall, some gear shifting. The theming is absolutely phenomenal. And as you go up this vertical lift, if you haven't ridden this or seen a POV of this, you may be expecting a really good and large drop. No, you're going to be greeted with a flat little bunny hop. And then another little bunny hop that takes you into this mid-course brake run. And after this comes, in my opinion, the second worst part of the ride. And the one I explained to you earlier was the third worst part. So we'll get to the number one worst part later. But it is really painful. You go down this steep drop, and it's a pretty intense drop. I gotta admit, it's aggressive. However, I come forward, and it hits the ground. My balls are just gone. It hurts so bad. This one thing about this ride is it's kind of painful, if I'm being completely honest. I don't care. It's such a meme, but like it's just something I noticed. And then you're going to kind of go in this little twisty section, followed by another brake run that takes you into kind of a U-turn, followed by a airtimeless hill. No airtime. It's slow as crap. And then you kind of just slowly sidewind into this structure area. And this is where it kind of gets towards the best part of the ride. You go up this really tall vertical lift. I believe it is 80 feet or above, something like that, maybe 85 feet. You go straight up, and then you kind of see this really cool light show thing where this giant structure just falls straight on you, and then you kind of go to the top and come to a complete pause. After about 5 seconds, a fire effect is going to flame straight in front of you. You're going to feel the heat, and then kind of go down this great beyond vertical drop. I think it's beyond vertical, or maybe it's just 90 degrees, I don't know, but you kind of twist down into this drop that is really good, and you go up into the best part of the ride, which is like a speed 0G roll. I think that's what it's called. I'm sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, but then you go into this really sweet dive loop that the hang time is incredible. You're upside down for about 3 seconds, and you're just hanging. I mean, that whole section from that big drop to the hang time element is just the greatest part of the ride. It's so good. The hang time's great. It's fast, thrilling. awesome portion of Mystery Mine. It was great. And then this is where the really bad part happens. This is where my least favorite part of the ride and the most painful part of the ride for me. After you drop down from the dive loop, you're gonna slide back up into the brakes, but here's the thing. When you hit it, you smash forward so hard and fast, it hurts. I'm sorry. If you're a dude, prepare for it. Hold yourself back as hard as you can. Hold your head forward. Your head bangs. Not only your head, but let's just say something else kind of bangs forward a little bit too. Not even a little bit. It's just so painful. Overall, this ride just has some really bad head banging moments and some nut smashers. But overall, the theming is phenomenal, and just the experience is so cool. The ending section with the massive drop and then the hang time elements are really good. The inversions are fun. And just the overall theme and vibe of this ride is really cool. It's a memorable ride for me because I rode it when I was like 4 years old, so 11 years ago. And being back on it, I gotta say, it is probably the most painful steel roller coaster I've ever experienced. I do not like those restraints at all. The dips are pretty aggressive. But you know, it's not the world's worst coaster, and it is definitely not one of my worst coasters. I enjoyed it, I just didn't really enjoy the painful moments. But yeah, guys, this has been my Mystery Mine review. So for its final score, I'm going to be giving it a 6 out of 10. Is this a perfect coaster? No. It has got its really painful moments, some headbanging, some nut smashing, and there is a bright side to it, though. There's heavy theming, and it has a phenomenal ending. I mean, this coaster is just really cool and has some tight dips. You definitely don't want to miss out on it, and I can see why it's like the GP's magnet at this park. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Post your comments down in the section below. What do you think of Mystery Mine if you've ridden it? Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, coaster fans, I will see you later.